on these weapons depends the speed and the possibility to deoccupy it without having our military forces killed to save human resources.
Now, a number of explosions shook parts of Kyiv this morning in the first assault on Ukraine's capital for weeks. Columns of black smoke could be seen above the city's skyline as emergency services tackled the aftermath. But the fiercest fighting is for control of the key city of Severodonetsk. Ukraine says it has recaptured part of the ground that it lost to Russian forces, though the Kremlin's denied those claims. Russia is now thought to have seized 1/5 of Ukraine's territory. Let's talk now to Taras Vysotsky, who's First Deputy Minister of Agro-Policy for Ukraine. Hello, Taras.
Hello.
Good to speak to you today. I know that you're in Kyiv. What can you tell us about those explosions, the apparent strikes on the capital?
So far, at least for more than 1 month, there had been no such rockets targets in Kyiv. Unfortunately, Russians returned. Fortunately, there are no people killed, only some wounded, and all the preconditions are already taken away from the results. But anyway, it's very critical that all of them again return from Sunday morning. So hopefully, it's not going to be again.
Yes, because as you say, for the past month or so, Kyiv has been relatively quiet. But there is, we understand, very fierce fighting going on for control of Severodonetsk. What can you tell us about the latest situation there?
Actually, the main front line is in the east. It's true. Despite the majority of military powers from Russia, which they used to take over this Donbas region, they didn't manage it. So their plans were to make it much earlier. Our soldiers keep fighting, and what's more important, even keep reoccupying territories, despite, once again, that lots of troops are from the Russian side. So we keep fighting and believe that we'll be able to move them further.
So do you think that Ukraine will be able to retain control of Severodonetsk? Are you going to be able to turn back the Russian forces there?
We believe in it, and we do our best. Of course, lots depends on including the military supports and the time the military supports comes from our international partners. But we will do our best really to take over all the Severodonetsk.
Yeah, we've had that decision from the United States, Joe Biden, and from the UK as well, to supply Ukraine with these longer range missiles. How important is that going to be in your efforts to hold back this invasion?
It's critical because we see that unfortunately quite, as you said, up to 20% of the territory occupied, and it's very important to receive such weapons to deoccupy territories by at the same time saving the lives of Ukrainian soldiers. So on these weapons depends the speed and the possibility to deoccupy it without having our military forces killed to save human resources.
How soon are you expecting to get this new military equipment?
So we can't name the dates, but we know that it's on the way and hope that it will be as up as all the preconditions will allow.
We've been hearing terrible stories, though, about the loss of life right along this front line, now some 600 miles long along the east of Ukraine, that there could be as many as between 50 and 100 Ukrainian soldiers dying every day. Is that your understanding of just the scale and the bloodshed of this conflict?
Actually, yes, that's the official information stated by our president. Unfortunately, it is the reality. And it's really the war, which is each day, each hour, with lots of people killed, including our side. But once again, returning to the previous issue, so to speed up the end of this war and to save the people, it's very important to have the stronger weapons than the Russia aggressor has.
We've had some rather different approaches from some of the NATO allies. President Macron, who's been very keen to get negotiations going, is saying it's very important for the West not to try to humiliate Russia. And indeed, the Italian Prime Minister, Mario Draghi, saying that he really wants to see negotiations underway. What do you make of those comments from President Macron?
So we don't comment on like personal comments. We our approach hasn't changed. We have to end this war, and the war can be ended only by fighting all the Russians away from our state. We have been having this war actually from 2014. It's already 8 years, and we do understand that nothing but really get all of them away from our country by having necessary weapons. Nothing other works with Russia. So that's our main goal. We are honest with our partners. We are asking for the support resources to free our country, and we will keep the same approach.
So do you think those comments from President Macron are perhaps unhelpful when you're trying to send out this message of resilience?
We are focusing, first of all, on the support we really receive from our international partners on the daily basis, and we do them. Not only France or Germany are the only countries, others also make real actions, US, United Kingdom, and others. So actually, we are once again focusing on to achieve the necessary result. First of all, thankful for the partners which do support with necessary resources, including weapons, and we'll keep fighting, not focusing much on different kinds of commands.
You have a role in the agro-policy ministry. Just tell us a bit more about the situation with the grain and other supplies that are blockaded in the ports because of the Russian blockade of places such as Odessa. How serious, how critical is that situation now?
The situation is very critical. So in 2021, Ukraine exported up to 90 million tons of agricultural commodities. And more than 95% of this was exported through the ports of Odessa and Mykolaiv. All of these ports are blocked since the beginning of the war. So far, we have up to 22 million tons of agricultural commodities of the previous harvest stocked in Ukraine from the last year. And already in a few weeks, we are going to harvest the new crops. And again, awaiting at least to harvest 30 million tons additional commodities which could be easily exported.
So do you want to see, I'm sorry to interrupt, but do you want to see the West in some form taking action to actually break Russia's blockade of those ports, despite the risks of that?
We do, and we understand that it's important for Ukraine, but it's also important for the international food security, because hundreds of millions of people are waiting for these agricultural commodities. And actually, there have been some examples of military support of all of the military ships, the civilian ships, to bring civilian goods, including agricultural commodities. So we are asking for it, and we understand it's critical for Ukraine, but it's also critical for all of the world.
Taras Vysotsky, First Deputy Minister of Agro-Policy for Ukraine. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for the call.